Hi guys, I have a coloring and card tutorial for you today, and today we're going to do some Aurora Borealis Northern Lights. But first we're going to do some prep work, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mask for this ice skating lake by Make It Crafty. So first I printed it on some copy paper, then I cut out a piece of that Simon's stamp masking paper to be about the same size as the stamp. I put it on the full size of the copy paper, and then I just put it through the printer again and printed it exactly as I did on the copy paper, because then the image will go on top of that masking paper. So then I don't spoil any masking paper, then I just use it for this image. Also, it helps when you do the fussy cutting around, because your paper will be a little bit more stable. So I taking my lovely scissors here, and I cut out my little trees. I think I cut out about 2 on camera and the rest off camera, because it took some time. I think it took like half an hour to cut all of these trees. Because I chose this image. There is a lot of really nice background images that Make It Crafty has that isn't as pointy as these are, much softer and much more easy to cut out. But I like a challenge, right? So I have cut out this, and I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for me, and not cut too much back and forth. So I'm just trying to cut out those little triangles one after another to get my mask to work. I actually tried masking this image with some masking fluid. I think my masking fluid is either too old or it's broken somehow, because I dipped my pencil in the masking fluid. I did 2 rows of masking fluid on my paper, and then my brush was all gummed up and it was almost impossible. And also it got stuck in my paper, so I couldn't get it from it. Destroyed the whole paper that I had printed, so a little bit sad about that. So I went over to do the masking paper technique instead, and that actually worked. So this is something I'm probably gonna do more times, mask things with masking paper. Now when I have figured out how to do it on when I do it like this on copy paper. So when I take off my mask, I do it very carefully, small pieces at a time, because then there is a less chance that the copy paper gets stuck in the mask. The easiest way I found to put the mask on was to kind of line it up with one of the images at the edge, and then just work it through. As I did get that tree very good, well lined up, this actually just came together. I was pretty happy about it, because I only tried it once or twice before. I never really played that much with masking, but it was really fun. So we have some distress ink blending for our night sky that is going to have the Aurora Borealis on top of it. So I started with the night sky. I'm using some faded jeans, some chipped sapphire, and some black soot. So first the faded jeans to be the closest to the ground around the top of the trees, and then higher up and on the edges I use the chipped sapphire, which is a darker blue, and then I blend that together with the faded jeans. I go in with the black soot, which I then going to blend together with some chipped sapphire, just to get those edges a little bit more blended. And finally we remove our little mask here. I could have waited and removed the mask later, because I'm going to concentrate on the Aurora Borealis first, but I kind of wanted to know where my treetops was, and it was a little bit easier after I removed the mask. The Aurora Borealis is going to be colored with my Prismacolour pencils. And I chose to use these because they are very, very creamy, and therefore they actually lend themselves the best for this kind of application kind of trick. So first I did a squiggly line to make my Aurora Borealis. Then I'm making thin lines that kind of taper off upwards, so they are thicker with the line where the line is, and the thinner the higher it goes. And then I went over with some rainbow colors from yellow all the way to quite a bright pink. And then I went in some extra with the white. I'm going to use some odorless mineral spirit to blend this out. And this is where I get it to look a little bit more like an Aurora Borealis. When I take that white, and first I make the white wet, and then I just push it through all of those colors, kind of making them a little bit more zigzaggy and dusty, which kind of make it look a little bit like an Aurora Borealis. And now for the trees, I'm not going for green trees. I wanted to kind of the Aurora Borealis to be the focal point of the card, so I'm just gonna do shadows. So when I start with the trees, I'm coloring them all in W6. I'm gonna have the points of the trees be a little bit lighter, so they stand out a little bit better towards the night sky, while the middle of the trees is gonna be almost black. So I'm using the W10 there. Also, those trees that are in the middle of the other tree also have those light edges, and that help them stand out from the other trees too. So it's a double effect from having just the core dark and the edges lighter. I'm taking the W8 to kind of add a little bit more darkness and blend out the W10, and just leaving the edges left. And when that is done, I'm going in with the W6 and just coloring in all of the edges, just leaving that faint glow from the trees, which I kind of liked, which that helped the trees stand out from each other and from that blue sky. For the last part, I'm just going in with W6, adding some shadows from the trees and shadows on the ice and on the snow, both really deep cast shadows and some rounded shadows. And to finish it off, I'm using the W2 and just softening up all of the shadows. Then I'm cutting off almost everything that I have colored on the white part. I'm cutting it down to be 4 1/4 high, and in the end I think I made it 3 3/4 wide. I think I only cut it to 3 7/8 here, but I ended up cutting it down to 3 3/4. Then I'm using some slate grey cardstock from Simon Says Stamp and cutting it down to 4 by 8.5, so just a 4-inch strip, and then scoring it at 4 1/4. So I have a 4 1/4 top folded card. I give it a edging of about 1/8 of an inch on both sides, and I finish it off by actually cutting off some extra of that top because it was a little bit too high for that card base. So I'm just turning it around because this is the easiest way to cut off a little bit that has been on the outside. And that is the card for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please thumbs it up. It means a lot to me. If you have any questions, just comment down below. Down below you can find all the details of the card. And here are 2 other cards that I made this year for Christmas. So thank you so much for watching, and I see you later. Bye!